So how could we solve this? First of all, can we factorize this?
Yes.
Don't think we can that easily. Okay, I don't think we can that easily. We might be able to. No, we can't. We can't factorize it. Okay. So if we can't factorize it, then we can move over to the quadratic formula. Now, I would always encourage you here, rather than just jumping straight into the quadratic formula, take a little bit of time to set yourself up. Okay. So I would write down A, B, and C. So I know which numbers I have to stick into this formula. So for question 1, what is A? 3. What is B? 7. And what is C? -4. Now you can just stick those numbers straight into the formula. In fact, let's do it. So I get x equals, I get negative of b. Well, now I've got b written here. I don't have to find it in this formula anymore. So it's going to be -7 plus or minus the square root of b squared. Well, I get 7 squared. Now at this stage, you could write 49, okay? But I would personally just write that. I just simply stick the numbers in the formula first time around, then I can go back and tidy it up afterwards, all right? Minus 4 times a, which is here, times c, which is -4, all divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 3, okay? Now, you could stick this straight into a calculator. I think it would take a little bit of time, and to be honest with you, it's only going to take 30 seconds just to tidy it up a little bit more. Okay, so it's less buttons to press on a calculator. Remember, pressing buttons in a calculator can be really risky because you might accidentally press the wrong button. So take the time now to simplify. Sorry, Vatican. Yep. Have you solved it? Okay. So I get -7 plus or minus. Now I think about this. 49 minus 4 times 3 times -4. So would you be happy that becomes 49 plus 4 times 3 times that is 48. Would you be happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah. All divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. And then you're dead right, you can tidy this up a little bit. I'm going to write it over here because I'm running out a little bit of space, but I'd personally write it underneath. So you get -7 plus or minus the square root of 97, all divided by 6. Less numbers to type in your calculator, you're more likely to get it right. Has anybody actually solved this? Has anybody stuck this in a calculator for me? Megan, what do you get? So if you're sticking this in a calculator, you notice this plus or minus. There's not one button that does both plus or minus. So you have to do this twice. You have to first of all stick in plus. So do -7 plus the square root of 97, all divided by 6. Okay? And then go back, so write that answer down, go back and then change that plus for a minus. Okay? So you have to do it twice. Denise, have you got an answer for me? Okay, so I'll take, yeah, let's go 2 decimal places. Yeah. So 0.47, or if you go back and change it to a negative. 2.81. Okay. Now you're happy you were never going to factorize that. You were never going to factorize that. Because number one, they're irrational numbers. Okay. Are there any questions about that? Okay, let's have a look. So let's do this. So the fraction button, is that one there, right? Okay, so if you go -7, do it in brackets first of all, so we get it all in the numerator. So -7. Let's do plus square root, yeah, 97, all over 6. So that's the first one. Yeah, and then just go back and change that plus for a minus. Is anybody else not sure about how you type that into a calculator? No? Okay. So can I ask you to finish off these two? Has anybody had a go at this one, part 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So what do we get? Just tell me the answers.
1 and 1/5.
1/5? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, good. So this one, because they came out as nice rational numbers, it probably meant that you could factorize it, right? But I'm just trying to show you this will always work. Okay. Good. Has anybody had a go at part 3? Okay, so let me go along with it on the board if you want to have a go at it to make sure that your answers match up with mine. So first of all, start by writing down A, B, and C. so I don't have to keep digging into the formula to find it. Okay, and then I go for it. So x equals, what's the negative of negative 9? It's just positive. Yeah, good, positive 9. Plus or minus the square root of negative 9 all squared minus 4 times 2 times 20, all divided by 2 times 2, and then I go back and tidy. So 9 plus or minus the square root of 81 minus 160, all divided by 4. That goes 9 plus or minus the square root of negative 79 over 4. Okay.
What do we do after we find a negative under the...
That's a really good question. So you notice with this one, in fact, has anybody actually stuck this in a calculator?
Yeah, we'll come with I.
Yeah, good. Has anybody actually stuck this in a calculator? What did you get? So try sticking it in a calculator just to see what you get.
Math error?
It comes up with a maths error, right? Now, why do you think that is?
Because we can't have a negative under the square root.
Good, well, yeah, good. It's this negative underneath the square root, right? What you're literally saying to the calculator is, try and find me two numbers which multiply together to make a negative, right? Now, if you think about it, it's got to be the same number. Okay, it's got to be the same number. So what number multiplied by itself gives me negative 79? That's what you're asking the calculator. Now, if you think about it, let me do it with a slightly easier example. Square root of negative 9, okay? Well, if you think about it, the square root of 9 is equal to 3, okay? If you're asking the question, what number do you multiply by itself to give me 9, it would also be negative 3 as well, okay? So plus or minus 3. But now if you ask the question, well, what number times by itself gives me a negative number? Well, if you think about it, a positive times a positive makes a positive, right? And a negative times a negative also makes a positive. So this, as far as we're aware, we can't have that, right? So your calculator, who only works with real numbers, goes, I don't know how to deal with that. So therefore, what we have to write down here is that there are no real solutions. Okay. Now you notice you have to put the word real there, okay? Because there are solutions, it's just we don't look at them in this course. There are these things called imaginary numbers, which I think Ahmed, you were going at, sort of hinting at there. So there are two solutions, but it's just we don't have the capability to deal with them in this course. Okay? So there's no real solutions. So if you put down no solutions, technically you're wrong. I'll probably mark it right because I know what you mean, but you must put this word real in here. Okay? Is that okay for them, everyone? Okay, are there any questions about this?